(6:15). This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is a news edited by Dulmin Samarsingh and read by J. Yogaraj. First, the headlines. A study concludes that the 4 vaccines are effective in achieving all 4 expected outcomes. China will donate 300,000 doses of Sinopharm vaccine on Saturday. Constructions of 3 pharmaceutical manufacturing facilities are underway. Australia says it is ready to assist Sri Lanka in the socio-economic development process. Colombo Stock Exchange all-share price index reaches an all-time high. The Navy seizes Kerala cannabis, valuing 41 million rupees. News overseas, warning issued of an attack at Kabul airport within hours. In sports, Lee Pearson wins 12th gold. And those are the headlines. A foreign study which compared the efficiency of 4 different COVID-19 vaccines has revealed that the percentage of deaths among the unvaccinated people above the age of 50 years is 8.1 times higher than that of a Sinopharm vaccine recipients. Professor Neelika Malavige of the Department of Immunology at the Sri Jayawardhanapura University stated this, tweeting the findings of a relevant study conducted with regard to the mortality from COVID-19 post-vaccination breakthrough infections in association with vaccines and emergence of variants in Bahrain. According to the study, no deaths were reported among the Pfizer, BioNTech, Oxford, AstraZeneca and Sputnik V vaccine recipients aged over 50 years. The research has further discovered that the percentage of deaths among all COVID-19 cases in unvaccinated people below the age of 50 years was 3.8 times higher compared to Sinopharm vaccine recipients. The authors of the study have concluded that 4 vaccines were effective in achieving all 4 outcomes, which are infections, hospitalizations, ICU admissions, and deaths in vaccinated compared to unvaccinated individuals prior to and during the period when the Delta variant became dominant in the country. Following a request made by the Defense Secretary General Kamal Gunaratne to the Chinese Defense Minister General Wei Feng during his official visit to Sri Lanka in April this year, the Ministry of National Defense of People's Republic of China will donate 300,000 doses of Sinopharm vaccine on Saturday. Accordingly, disabled military personnel, war widows, their dependents and ex-servicemen are expected to be vaccinated under the process. The consignment of the Sinopharm vaccine is arriving in the island in a Sri Lankan Airlines flight on Saturday as a military assistance to Sri Lankan Armed Forces from People's Republic of China. The President's Media Division says that State Pharmaceutical Manufacturing Corporation has planned to produce 1 new medical or medicinal drug each month and to provide those to the national hospital system. So far, 8 medicines have been produced. Importation of those medicines has been stopped. Constructions of 3 pharmaceutical manufacturing facilities, which are to be completed in 2023, are now taking place. All facilities are built according to European standards. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Foreign Minister Professor G.L. Pires, during a courtesy call paid by the High Commissioner of Australia, David Hawley, yesterday discussed avenues for advancing bilateral relations with Australia across multiple fields of mutual interest. Foreign Minister Pires particularly underlines Sri Lanka's commitment and interest to enhance cooperation in countering irregular migration by sea, combating COVID-19, education, technical and vocational training, economic and investment sectors, which were reciprocated by Australia. High Commissioner reiterated that Australia was ready to assist Sri Lanka in the socio-economic development process. The two sides identified the importance of those collaboration in the maritime field, including in the prevention of future maritime disasters and cooperation in international and regional forums on issues of shared interest. Foreign Minister Pires and the Australian High Commissioner Hawley also agreed to jointly celebrate the 75th anniversary of the establishment of the diplomatic ties between Sri Lanka and Australia in 2022. Colombo Stock Exchange All-Share Price Index has reached an all-time high at 8,920.71 points today. This surpasses the previous record of 8,812.01 points on 27 January 2021. The turnover for today was 10.49 billion rupees. The Navy managed to seize about 139 kilograms of Kerala cannabis during a special operation conducted in the seas of Manalkadu, Point Pedro in Bias today. The operation also led to the apprehension of two suspects involved in the illegal act. It is suspected that the smugglers have transferred the stock of Kerala ganja to the Dinky at the international maritime boundary line with the intention of smuggling them into the island. SLBC parliamentarian Pramita Bandarathenakon has been appointed as the Assistant Government Whip. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has handed over the appointment letter to him today at the Temple Trees. The appointment is effective from 1st of next month. The Secretary General of Parliament, Dhammika Dasanayake, announced that COVID-19 Temporary Provisions Bill was certified by Speaker Mahinda Abeyewardena on Monday. The bill was passed in Parliament without a vote on the 17th of August. The purpose of this is to make temporary provisions in relation to situations where persons were unable to perform certain actions required by law to be performed within the prescribed time periods due to COVID-19 circumstances. To assign alternative courts where a court cannot function due to COVID-19 circumstances, to conduct court proceedings using remote communication technology to facilitate the control of COVID-19, to grant relief in relation to parties to certain contracts who were unable to perform contractual obligations due to COVID-19 circumstances. Environment Minister Mahinda Amarabira says that a cabinet paper has been submitted to 8 polythene products. Production of non-degradable lunch sheets, distribution and selling was banned from 1st of this month. Use of another 5 plastic and polythene products, including sheets, have been prohibited. Minister Amarabira disclosed this while attending the function to launch the 10-year National Plan on the Management of Plastic Waste. That's local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Ministry of Health said 2,139 COVID-19 patients were discharged from hospitals and treatment centers after recovering from the virus infection. This brings the total of recoveries reported in the country to 351,069. Sri Lanka has recorded 407,768 cases of COVID-19 to date. According to Epidemiology Unit's data, 48,751 virus-infected patients are currently under medical care. Meanwhile, the death toll from coronavirus now stands at 7,948. And that was main news.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
In Watchlight, the Ministry of Mass Media says that the public has been provided with the opportunity to get information relevant to the state language policy. The ministry said that the public can get information from the State Languages Commission by calling over the telephone number 071-952-1436 or 076-1477-833. And that was Watchlight. And moving on to world news, the headlines. Warning issued of an attack at Kabul airport within hours. Japan suspends 1.6 million Moderna doses over contamination fears. South Korea becomes the first major Asian economy to raise interest rates. And those are the headlines of the world news. A minister has warned that there could be an imminent, highly lethal terror attack at Kabul airport within hours. Armed Forces Minister James Happy said there were very credible reports of a severe threat in the capital. The UK Foreign Office last night issued a new guidance telling anyone near the airport to move away to a safer location and await further advice. It comes amid a race to airlift thousands from Afghanistan before foreign troops depart by 31st August. Japan has suspended the use of about 1.63 million doses of Moderna vaccine due to contamination. The health ministry said foreign materials were found in some doses of a batch of roughly 560,000 vials. Takeda Pharmaceutical, which sells and distributes the vaccine in Japan, said Moderna had put 3 batches on hold out of an abundance of caution. South Korea has become the first major Asian economy to raise interest rates since the coronavirus pandemic began. The Bank of Korea increased its base rate of interest from a record low of 0.5% to 0.75%. The move is aimed at helping curb the country's household debt and home prices, which soared in recent months. The central banks around the world are trying to balance the impact of ongoing COVID-19 infections against economic risks such as high inflation. And that's world news.
Development News is brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, #1 in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
The Agriculture Ministry will produce 50,000 metric tons of organic fertilizer using the Epawala phosphate deposit for the first time. This program is being implemented jointly by the Sri Lanka Phosphate Company, the Sintec and Colombo University. The ministry said this would be the first step of a national plan to manufacture required organic fertilizer locally. And that came to you in Development News.
Development News was brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, #1 in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
In sports, Lee Pearson won his 12th Paralympic title as Great Britain also enjoyed success in the swimming pool and velodrome on day 2 of the Tokyo Paralympics. The Lee Pearson, who made his debut at Sydney 2000, and his horse Breezer claimed victory in the Grade 2 individual test with teammate Georgia Wilson third. There was also joy for a trio of Paralympic debutants, cyclist Jacko, swimmers Tully Curti and Mace Summers Newton, who all set world records on their way to winning gold medals. And that was sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
People's Bank has joined hands with the Kandy Municipal Council to enable the citizen residing within the council limits to conveniently pay their water bills using the Lanka QR network. This program was ceremonially launched at the Kandy Municipal Council with the participation of People's Bank's Chief Executive Officer Ranjit Kodituaku and the Kandy Municipal Commissioner Amila Navaratna.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by Sri Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
The importance of innovation and technological improvements in the banking sector in addressing the broader market needs and tapping into the opportunities in the new normal was highlighted by HNB's Managing Director and CEO Jonathan Ellis and Chairman of the Asian Bankers Association at their 37th General Meeting and Conference. Inaugurating the event and addressing the virtual gathering, Ellis highlighted the critical role that banks have played in supporting economic recovery in post-COVID-19 situation.
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by Sri Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces NANASER, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
The Mint Department says a prevailing showery condition over the southwestern part of the island is expected to continue during the next few days. Showers will occur at times in western, Sabaragamu, central and northwestern provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters can be expected at some places in western, Sabaragamu and central provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces NANASER, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Before we wind up this news broadcast, let's look at the main points once again. A study concludes that the 4 vaccines are effective in achieving all 4 expected outcomes. China will donate 300,000 doses of Sinopharm vaccine on Saturday. Constructions of 3 pharmaceutical manufacturing facilities are underway. Australia says it is ready to assist Sri Lanka in the socio-economic development process. Colombo Stock Exchange All-Share Price Index reaches an all-time high. The Navy seizes Kerala cannabis valuing 41 million rupees. And with that, we conclude this evening news broadcast of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.